guys were supposed to be in surgery watching the child being born. But I was on the plane.
For years, fans have guessed, rumors have spread, and conspiracy theories have surrounded the mystery of Robin Gibb's personal life. Now, at 61, the famous Bee Gees singer has finally spoken out about a secret that had been kept in the dark for decades, confirming what many had already suspected. But what secret had been hidden behind the shining legacy of one of pop music's greatest stars? Get ready as we dive into the story of one of pop's most mysterious legends, the Bee Gees' humble beginnings. The Bee Gees' journey began in a very simple way with the Gibb brothers, three young boys who shared a great love for music, singing together, and performing. Robin, along with his twin brother Maurice, was born in December 1949, and together with their older brother Barry, they would later form the famous band we know today. But it wasn't until the 1950s that the boys became interested in music. They started borrowing records from their older sister Leslie, listening to the music of Elvis Presley, Tommy Steele, the Everly Brothers, and other well-known artists. Inspired by these stars, the brothers would make their own pretend guitars out of boxes and put on pretend performances in their homes. In 1956, the brothers got the chance to show off their talent for the first time in front of an audience at a local movie theater, the GMA, just a few blocks away. It was a special event where kids were invited to lip-sync to their favorite songs, and the Gibb brothers brought along Leslie's records to perform. They had also practiced with a couple of neighborhood friends, Paul Frost and Kenny Ricks, forming a group they called the Rattlesnakes. But just as they were about to take the stage, disaster struck. The sound technician accidentally dropped and broke Leslie's record. However, the Gibb brothers weren't the type to give up easily. Instead of quitting, they kept going. Luckily, Barry had a real guitar with him, and they went ahead with the performance. As Barry played his guitar, something surprising happened. The kids around him enjoyed it. From that moment on, the Gibb brothers became even more determined to follow a music career and dreamed of being discovered. By May 1958, however, the band they had been part of, the Rattlesnakes, came to an end after Paul Frost and Kenny Horrocks left. But the Gibb brothers weren't ready to quit. They decided to start over and formed a new band called Johnny Hayes and the Blue Cats, with Barry taking the stage name Johnny Hayes. August 1958 marked a big change for the family. They packed up their lives in England and moved to Australia for a fresh start. The entire family, including their older sister Leslie and younger brother Andy, settled in Redcliffe, a coastal town in Queensland, just northeast of Brisbane. The brothers continued to follow their love for music. They often performed at the Redcliffe Speedway in 1959, playing between the races. Their music caught the attention of Bill Good, a racing driver who liked their sound. Impressed, he reached out to a DJ named Bill Gates, who also noticed their natural harmony and talent. Gates recorded their music and played it on the radio, giving the Gibb brothers more exposure. It was Gates who came up with the idea to call the group the Bee Gees, a name that combined the initials of Barry Gibb, Bill Good, and himself. This would later change into the Bee Gees, which stood for the Gibb brothers. Their father, Hugh, who had been running a photography business to support the family, stepped in as their manager. With this new role, Hugh fully committed himself to his sons' careers. At this stage, the brothers were already becoming known, making appearances on Australian TV shows like Anything Goes and Brisbane Tonight. They also performed at theaters, nightclubs, and bars, though they still had a long way to go. As children, their dad had taught them to sing songs by the Mills Brothers, while their mom, Barbara, picked out their clothes. Despite their efforts, success remained out of reach. Then the brothers met Nat Kipner, an American songwriter and producer who understood the music business. Kipner had recently become an A&R manager at Spin Records, a new independent label. He saw great potential in the Bee Gees and decided to help them, becoming their manager. Kipner helped them move from Festival Records to Spin Records, a move that proved to be a big turning point. Although they continued to work with Festival for distribution in Australia, Spin Records gave the Bee Gees a fresh start. Through Kipner, the brothers connected with Ozzie Byrne, a talented sound engineer who believed in their abilities. Byrne welcomed them to his small, custom-built studio at St. Clair Studios in Hurstville, Sydney. Although the studio wasn't fancy, it gave the Bee Gees the freedom to experiment and shape their sound. From that point on, their popularity began to grow. They scored their first Australian hit, Spicks and Specks, which reached number 35 on the charts, marking a steady rise in their music career. In February 1967, a life-changing moment came for the Bee Gees when they tried out for Robert Stigwood, a big name in the music world known for finding amazing talent. The tryout was a huge success. Stigwood was so impressed by their performance that he offered them a 5-year deal right away. This agreement ensured their music would be released through Polydor Records in the UK and Atco Records in the US, paving the way for their rise to worldwide fame. Soon, talk began spreading, comparing the Bee Gees to none other than the Beatles. While this comparison brought excitement, it also added pressure as they stepped into this exciting new chapter of their careers. Determined to improve their music, they expanded their band, bringing in drummer Colin Peterson and guitarist Vince Melouney. These new members gave them the freedom to develop their sound and try new musical ideas. Their next big break came with the release of the New York mining disaster 1941 in Britain. To create mystery, the record was sent to radio stations without labels, showing only the song's title. This smart move sparked rumors that the track was a secret release by the Beatles. The mystery grabbed the listeners' attention, and the song quickly became popular, reaching the top 20 charts in both the UK and the US. It was a major moment for the Bee Gees, marking their first big step onto the world stage. Fans and critics alike began to notice them, and the excitement around the band grew stronger. With success on their side, the Bee Gees began a journey filled with incredible highs and tough lows. Praise from critics boosted their confidence, but fame brought its challenges. Behind the scenes, they dealt with creative disagreements and personal struggles, all while working to secure their place in the ever-changing music scene. So, what was their challenge? Let's find out. The Bee Gees' struggle and triumph. In 1968, just as their fame was skyrocketing, the Bee Gees had a massive 7-week US tour lined up. But before it could even begin, disaster struck. Robin Gibb collapsed and was rushed to the hospital, where doctors diagnosed him with nervous exhaustion caused by the intense pressure he had been under. This put the group in a difficult position, forcing them to make tough decisions about their lineup and future. Even though Barry and Maurice kept making music while Robin recovered, the group just wasn't the same without his unique voice. Tensions began to rise, especially when creative differences emerged. The breaking point came with the single 1st of May. Robin believed his song Lamplight deserved the spotlight as the main track, but the group chose otherwise, feeling overshadowed and frustrated. Robin decided to leave the Bee Gees in 1969 to pursue a solo career. Barry and Maurice tried to keep the Bee Gees alive as a duo, but Robin's absence was deeply felt. Their first performance without him at London's Talk of the Town was bittersweet, a mix of joy from the fans and sadness over what was missing. They pressed on with the recording of their album Cucumber Castle, but the void left by Robin was undeniable. Meanwhile, Robin found success on his own, especially with his solo hit Saved by the Bell, which became a chart-topping favorite. This success sparked widespread speculation about the future of the Bee Gees. Could they continue without him? Barry and Maurice began exploring their projects, but it wasn't smooth sailing. The bond that had once united the brothers seemed to be unraveling, leaving fans heartbroken and unsure if the Bee Gees would ever reunite. By the mid-1970s, however, the tides began to turn. While on a reflective vacation in Spain, Barry thought deeply about everything the group had been through. Around the same time, Maurice decided to reach out to Robin with an apology for their past arguments. That heartfelt gesture set the stage for reconciliation. The brothers realized that their bond and their music was stronger together. With their relationship mended, the Bee Gees reunited as a trio, ready to create magic once again. In 1971, the Bee Gees made a successful return to the music scene. After a tough period both personally and professionally, they released their 9th album, Trafalgar, which included the hit single, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? This song marked a significant moment in their comeback, propelling them back into the UK top 10. During the 1970s, the Bee Gees underwent a surprising shift in their sound. They embraced the disco movement, especially with Barry's incredible falsetto voice. Tracks like You Should Be Dancing became defining anthems for the era, and their involvement with the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack solidified their place in music history. Even as the 1970s came to an end and the disco craze began to fade, the Bee Gees' music continued to resonate with fans. Their legacy extended far beyond the disco era, making them true icons of the music world. By 1979, however, the disco era was beginning to crumble, and the Bee Gees faced significant challenges. A backlash against disco swept through both the public and critics, and people started losing interest in the genre that had once been so popular. Since the Bee Gees were so closely associated with disco, they found it difficult to adapt to this shift. Radio stations and audiences started turning away from their music. To make matters worse, the Bee Gees became entangled in a legal battle when another musician accused them of stealing elements of their hit song, How Deep Is Your Love? At first, the court sided with the accuser, claiming that the Bee Gees didn't present enough expert evidence to defend themselves. However, just a few months later, the court overturned the decision, clearing them of all charges. Despite these struggles, the Bee Gees remained dedicated to their love of performing and their deep connection with their fans. During one of their concerts, they paid tribute to their late brother, Andy Gibb, by including his voice in a special version of their song, Our Love Don't Throw It All Away. It was a deeply moving tribute that touched everyone's hearts, reminding them of Andy's lively spirit and the strong bond between the brothers. The crowd felt touched by this meaningful moment, and it led to an important realization for Barry, Robin, and Maurice. They saw the strong connection they had with their fans. Motivated by this, the brothers decided to start a special worldwide tour called One Night Only, encouraged by the constant support of their audience. This tour became a huge success, bringing new energy into their careers and strengthening their connection with fans all around the world. It gave the Bee Gees a renewed sense of purpose, and they performed with such passion that it pushed them to even greater fame. The tour allowed them to rediscover the magic of their music and the love of their global fan base. However, as time went on, health problems began to take a toll on the group. Let's explore the health struggle they went through. The Bee Gees' final goodbye. In 2002, Maurice Gibb, the heart of the Bee Gees, faced unexpected health problems. He was taken to the hospital and, sadly, he passed away. His death left his brothers, Barry and Robin, completely heartbroken. With Maurice gone, the Bee Gees as a group could no longer continue. The brothers decided to retire the Bee Gees name as a tribute to Maurice, marking the end of an amazing musical journey they had shared for many years. Losing Maurice was a huge blow to Barry and Robin, but despite their sadness, their strong connection and love for music remained. In 2006, they performed together again for the first time since Maurice's death. This wasn't for a big concert, but for a charity event in Miami that was very important to them. The moment was simple yet meaningful, showing their strength and their commitment to carrying on their family's musical legacy. As time passed, Robin had his health struggles. He was diagnosed with liver cancer and his condition got worse. Even so, Robin fought quietly, keeping his battle mostly out of the public eye. Even as he had to cancel performances, he stayed in touch with his fans, showing great courage and dedication throughout. In an interview with Robin's son, Robin John Gibb, a surprising truth came out. It turned out that many news sources had gotten the cause of his father's death wrong. Robin John explained that it wasn't cancer that caused his father's death, but kidney failure. While Robin had gone through remission and the cancer was barely noticeable, it was the kidney failure that finally took him. This information helped clear up the confusion about Robin's health. Many people were confused when, in early February, Robin told the BBC that his colon tumor had nearly disappeared and that he felt great. He had described his recovery as mostly follow-up steps and said that he felt strong and active. But just a few months later, in April, he fell into a coma, and by May, he was gone. Fans were left wondering if Robin had been in denial about his cancer or if it seemed like he was recovering before suddenly getting worse. Robin John cleared up that neither of these ideas was true. The cancer was not what ultimately caused his father's death. Instead, it was kidney failure, a separate issue made worse by the stress the cancer and its treatment had put on Robin's body. Robin John expressed frustration over the different opinions among doctors on how to care for his father in his final weeks. He was unhappy with the decisions made by the hospital staff. Robin shared with the newspaper that his dad had been doing well until 3 days before he passed away when he suddenly had a seizure. He explained that his father was given sedatives to help manage the side effects of chemotherapy, but his liver couldn't handle it, and his condition quickly worsened, affecting his kidneys as well. Eventually, his father passed away from kidney and liver failure while in a coma. Meanwhile, Robin's wife, Dwina, was going through her struggles. Despite their unusual marriage, Robin had a daughter named Snow with their housekeeper, Claire Yang, who was almost half his age. Robin and Dwina stayed close after 28 years together. Dwina, who was an artist and druid priestess, was heartbroken when the truth about Robin's daughter came out. She felt deeply betrayed and angry, and calling her reaction an overreaction would be an understatement. Robin's estate was worth over $140 million, and Robin John was his only son with Dwina. Robin also had 2 older children, Melissa and Spencer, from his first marriage to Molly Hullis, a secretary for the Bee Gees' former manager. Their marriage ended because of the pressures of fame, and Molly got custody of their kids. For years, Robin had little contact with them, but he eventually reconnected with them when they were 12 and 10 years old. By then, he was already married to Dwina, whom he met in 1980 while she was working at a beanbag factory in London and following her dream of becoming an artist. There was also some hidden tension between the Gibb brothers early in the Bee Gees' career. Robin was often the focus of attention, which led to tension with Barry, and even caused him to leave the group for a while in the late 1960s. He returned, and together the 3 brothers became one of the biggest acts of the 1970s during the disco era. The rivalry pushed their creativity, but also caused personal conflicts, creating a lasting rift between Robin and Barry. This discord remained during Robin's fight with cancer and continued until his death. Barry deeply regretted their strained relationship and expressed his sorrow in a heartfelt speech at Robin's funeral. After Robin's passing, Barry made the meaningful decision to celebrate their shared musical legacy. In 2013, he launched his solo tour, which wasn't just about performing. It was a tribute to his brothers and their amazing journey. Each song became a heartfelt tribute to their music, love, and brotherly bond. In 2016, Capitol Records signed a deal to preserve the Bee Gees' music for future generations, ensuring their legacy would live on. Even through difficult personal moments, their songs continued to inspire and connect fans of all ages. Despite the tragedies and conflicts, the story of the Bee Gees remains one of resilience and unparalleled musical influence. Barry, the last surviving Gibb brother, has often spoken about the importance of keeping the legacy of his brothers alive. He has said that every performance he gives feels like a reunion with Robin and Maurice, as their voices and harmonies are still very much a part of his music. Beyond their songs, the Bee Gees' story serves as a reminder of the power of family, love, and perseverance. Today, their music continues to resonate with fans worldwide, from their early ballads to their disco anthems that defined an era. With millions of records sold and countless lives touched, the Bee Gees' enduring impact is a testament to their extraordinary talent and bond as brothers. Through all the highs and lows, their legacy stands as a beacon of inspiration for generations to come. What are your thoughts on the shocking revelation by Robin Gibb? Let us know your opinion in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.